Hello everyone, Shannon Flummerfeld here for Flip Schools. Welcome to the Sustaining Improvement series. This video is one in a series of 5 designed to introduce building administrators to a very simple to use and straightforward tool called the 5S. The reason for using this tool, the 5S, is for you as a building administrator to be able to capture and hold on to what is emerging as best practice in your schools as you're flipping a school. So in this particular video, I'm just going to introduce you to the first 2 steps of a 5S so you can understand how this tool could be used. So what is a 5S? Well, it's just a very straightforward, simple to use visual management tool. And it's helpful when you're a building administrator to understand what a 5S can do, because it will help you to bring your faculty collectively through a process of trying to figure out, first of all, what needs to be improved, and second of all, how you can really take that into a best practice format and then maintain or sustain it, as we would say. So in this particular example, over these 5 videos, you're going to see how we're going to use the 5S tool, which has 5 steps to it: sorting, setting, shining, standardizing, and sustaining. Those 5 steps, how that's used in order to improve reading instruction, and then of course then to sustain it. So this video will just take you through the first 2 steps, and then there are some other videos that'll take you through the rest of the process. All right, in step number 1, we're trying to sort. In sorting, what you want to do is really be able to understand what matters for the instructional issue at hand. In this case, in this example, we're going to focus on reading instruction, but it could be anything. It could be assessment practices, it could be classroom management practices, it could be the use of instructional technology, it could be the way that faculty collaborate. Anything that surrounds instruction in a flipped environment, this tool could be used for. So in this case, we're going to focus on reading instruction. And what we do here, first of all, is, and this can be done collectively with your faculty, let's sit down and together, let's make a list of the practices that really matter in reading instruction. You know, from our experience, what do we think matters? What does the research tell us that matters? What are we learning from other colleagues that matters? And so in this case, this principal in this first sorting step would create this list with faculty of the 9 practices in reading instruction. So number 1 is about, getting a good curriculum. Number 2 is using good assessment and intervention, or RTI, processes. Number 3 is the instructional technology, has to be appropriate. Number 4, there has to be some sharing of what's authentically based pedagogy, so students really understand how to read, why they would read, and to be able to use their reading strategies. 5, formative testing strategies. Number 6, faculty and parental teamwork is important in reading instruction. And number 7, being able to differentiate and personalize for students in your classroom. They come in with all different abilities in reading and being able to exercise the skill sets of reading. And number 8, also being, connected to emotionally involved, socially, interpersonally involved with learning. And number 9, what is the quality of the reading instruction that's actually happening? So let's say you have these 9 items that have been set out here or sorted out in your building, and you've talked about these things that we think are really, really super important. Well, that's great. It's great to have this first list. Now, as you look at this list, you can use this now to begin to move forward and figure out, okay, what is it that we want to focus on and really bring forward as an improvement strategy in reading instruction. So you can begin to look at this list and move from step 1 into step 2 by just having a discussion about what is it that we actually really know already what we're doing. We can set that aside. What is it that's critical for us to focus on? And then what are some of the things that are maybe not quite as urgent but still need some attention? So in this particular list, we find that number 2, the timely assessment and intervention, is absolutely critical in this building. Even though that there's an understanding this needs to be done, it's not being done. And then strategies 1, 3, and 5 are really absolutely under control in this building. So we know those can be sort of set aside. We don't need to focus on those. And then the remaining ones are also going to need some attention. So in step number 1, what we're trying to do is sort out what actually are we talking about here? What's the scope and focus of the problem that we're looking at? And then step number 2 is, what do we need to actually really focus on? And that's where we get into setting categories. So as you saw from the previous slide, we identified already that we have 3 categories here. Strategies 1, 3, and 5 don't need improvement. Strategy 2 is a very high priority, critical strategy. It needs immediate improvement. And then strategies 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9 need moderate, or moderate priority. They need improvement, but we need to definitely fix number 2. So now what starts to happen is we begin to understand what is it that we do well, what is it that needs some attention, and so on. So again, this 5S tool is starting to launch you and your building into an improvement cycle. And when we get through the 5th step, you'll be able to understand how you take whatever is created here as best strategy and you maintain it. So for now, we've just covered the first 2 steps, sorting and setting, and there are 3 more, shining, standardizing, and sustaining. And when you get to sustaining, that's the final point of the 5S tool. Well, anyway, hopefully you'll have a chance to listen to the other videos. But if you want any more information, you can certainly go to the Flip Institute website at theflipinstitute.com. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the video.